Chapter 1. Howls of the Hidden Clan. It is a full moon night, and there is only darkness everywhere in the forest. The howling of wolves is so loud that someone's bad time is surely coming today. There is a small township inside this forest, adjacent to the highway, which exists naturally within the forest, away from the ostentatious comforts of the world, a place that people of the world consider to be a backward class. However, the government wants them to accept modern society and live like other countrymen, leaving the forest. Government officials go to meet them in the forest, but the tribe living in the township doesn't like to meet them at all, especially not on the day of the full moon. They don't want the outside world to discover the secret they have been hiding for centuries. On the night of the full moon, the tribal people of that township surround their entire village, prepared to sacrifice their lives. But the government agency monitoring them keeps a close watch, especially on the full moon, because they want to discover what the tribe does on that night. Max, along with his two teammates, David and James, has been in the forest for many nights, trying to join the tribe on this special day. However, the tribal people threw Max and his companions out of the forest the night before the full moon, surrounding them as they left. They warned Max to stay away, saying that if they remained distant tonight, everything would be fine. David and James were enraged by the tribe's attitude and began to threaten them in the name of the government. But at a signal from Max, both quieted down. Max's gaze, however, was fixed on a girl from the tribe, Lily, whose deer-like eyes were brimming with pearl-like tears. After spending so much time with Max, she had become attached to him, and she didn't want him to leave. Yet, following her traditions and protecting the secret of her clan, she had to say goodbye. As they walked away, David blurted, "Max, sir, what was the point of spending so many days with these savages when they threw us out on the day we were waiting for?" "Don't worry, David. I'll uncover the truth," Max replied. "But how, sir? They won't let us in." "Don't worry. I've discovered a secret way to get inside, but only I will go in. You two will wait for me." After explaining his plan to his companions, Max reached a cave on the other side of the forest, the one that led to the tribe's settlement. The afternoon sunlight was fading into a mesmerizing evening. Max lit a torch and set off down the path he had found inside the cave. By the time he reached the village on the other side, evening had turned into night, with the full moon about to rise. Max secretly entered the village, but it was completely empty. There was silence in every house, as if no one lived there. Suddenly, someone placed a hand on his shoulder from behind. His breath caught, in fear, thinking he was caught, and this could mean his death. But when he turned around, his worry disappeared. "You scared me, Lily." "You should be scared," Lily replied, "because if anyone besides me sees you here, your death is certain. You'll soon see what you came here for, but you must hide where not even I can see you." Just as Lily finished speaking, there was a loud sound. The trumpet and drums began playing in harmony from deep within the forest. Max turned to see where the sound was coming from, noticing flames rising far away. When he turned back to ask Lily something, she had vanished. He knew he had to complete this journey alone. Following the sound of the drums, Max reached a place where the entire tribe had gathered. Hidden behind some bushes, he watched and listened as the drums came to a halt. Their chief raised his hand, and with the sound of the trumpet, he stood up and addressed the tribe. Every month the full moon rises, but tonight is the dangerous full moon of the year, when we use our powers to take the form that ensures the survival of our dynasty. Tonight is that full moon. Let's call upon it together. With this, the trumpet and drums resumed, and one by one, the tribe members began calling to the moon, patting their chests with both hands. Max watched, bewildered, unsure of what was happening. Then something terrible occurred, something that made Max's eyes widen in fear. His legs slipped and he fell, but he scrambled to his feet and ran. Fear overwhelmed him, knowing that if he didn't run now, he would never be able to escape. He could hear sounds behind him, like a herd chasing after him. He barely made it back to the cave, sealing the entrance with a large stone. The terrifying sounds of wolves echoed from the other side, but Max didn't stop. He ran until he reached the other side of the cave, where his companions were waiting for him. Exhausted and injured, he collapsed in front of them. When he opened his eyes, memories of that night flooded his mind. His two companions and senior officers stood before him. "Max, you've been unconscious for an entire month. We've been waiting for you to wake up. Now tell me, what did you see that left you in this state?" Hearing the mention of that night, Max's mind returned to the scene where he saw the entire tribe transform into wolves under the moonlight. He remembered how the wolves pounced on him like death itself, and how Lily, in her wolf form, had given him the chance to escape. And now here he was, alive. As Max emerged from his thoughts, his senior spoke again. "Max, don't delay. Tell us what you saw. It's a full moon tonight, and we can catch them red-handed and drive them out of the forest." Suddenly, the lights in the hospital went out. Moonlight streamed through the glass window in Max's room on the 6th floor. As the light reached him, Max's demeanor began to change. He could clearly hear the sound of drums from the forest miles away and the command of the tribe's leader. Lily must be killed because she had broken the clan's rule. Max tore the IV from his hand and stood. "Leave them alone. If they're not bothering you, why are you intruding on their lives?" "Well done, Max," his senior sneered. "You've started speaking the language of those jungle people. The government wants to give them the same rights as the rest of us." "They don't want any status," Max replied. "Stay away from them, or they'll become a threat to humanity because of your interference. Security, take Max into custody. I'll personally ensure those savages don't survive. They're sitting on billions worth of land. I won't let them have it." Despite Max's repeated warnings, his senior ignored him and left the room. Security moved toward Max, but Max knelt down, patting his chest as he looked at the moon outside the window. Slowly, his body began to transform into a fierce werewolf. The security officer panicked, drawing his gun, but it had no effect on Max. In his wolf form, Max grabbed the officer and hurled him out of the window. He then leaped out himself, racing toward the forest. Upon reaching the woods, he saw the preparations for Lily's execution. The weapon was about to fall on her neck, but Max, in his werewolf form, pounced, saving her and taking her to the chief. Returning to his human form, Max explained everything, that an attack was coming to clear the forest. But the chief didn't believe him and grew angry that Max had now acquired their powers. In the next moment, the tribe was surrounded. The chief realized Max had been telling the truth. At the chief's command, the tribe men transformed into wolves and rushed to attack. But the forest force fired rapidly, scattering the wolves. The survivors fled deep into the woods. The troubles averted, but sir, how did people turn into wolves? Why should we care? We wanted the forest cleared, and we've done that. Now we'll profit. Remember, what you saw here stays here. As his superior left to take a call, Max overheard, "Yes, sir, the job's done. Now whether it's diamonds or gold, you'll find out. Just remember your promise." The greedy humans had taken the land, destroying the tribe. But what will happen when these innocent tribal people now in the city, turn into werewolves on the next full moon.